you've probably been hearing nonstop buzz about GPT 5.5 and Grok 4.3 beta, right? You might even be wondering which one is actually worth your money, or honestly, your time. Well, welcome back to AI Verdict. We do the research so you don't have to. In this explainer, we're cutting through the hype. After testing both of these for weeks across coding tasks, real-time queries, and video uploads, one thing is totally clear. While one costs significantly more to access, there really is no single best model for everyone. So before we even look at the specs, you've got to ask yourself, which of these massive models is the right fit for your daily workflow? Especially knowing that one of them costs literally 10 times more to access than the other. It's a huge disparity. And as you'll see, the one that comes out on top completely depends on the specific job you're trying to do. Okay, here's how we're breaking this down today. First, architecture and core philosophy. Then, context and live data. Third, performance benchmarks. Fourth, multimodality and safety. Fifth, pricing and ecosystem. And finally, the verdict. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Section 1, Architecture and Core Philosophy. The difference in their foundational setups brilliantly illustrates the massive philosophical divide between these two companies. It's like two entirely different approaches to building a brain. OpenAI built one giant brain, codenamed Spud, which functions as a single, unified transformer. But then you look at Elon Musk's xAI, and they took a totally different route. They built a multi-agent architecture, essentially a swarm of 16 specialized experts that all work in parallel. Now, looking closely at GPT 5.5, what's fascinating is that it natively processes all media formats end-to-end. There are absolutely no bolted-on modules here. It takes in photos, MP3s, or video as one continuous thought. Plus, it was built hand-in-hand with NVIDIA's latest GB200 and GB300 chips, so it's incredibly fast, managing to match previous generation speeds, but with a dedicated fast mode that runs 1.5 times faster. Oh, and it relies heavily on chain-of-thought reasoning, meaning it literally thinks internally before it responds to you. Conversely, Grok operates on that multi-agent architecture we just mentioned. Its core model is about 500 billion parameters, which is noticeably smaller than GPT 5.5. But it splits your workload among those 16 experts that tackle your query at the exact same time. It's basically a massive bet that a coordinated team can beat one giant brain. Although, keep in mind, community feedback notes that coordinating all those agents can sometimes add overhead, causing noticeable delays on really complex prompts. Moving right along to Section 2, Context and Live Data. The crucial point here is this absolutely staggering 2 million token context window held by Grok. This is the largest of any closed Western AI model right now. To put that into perspective, it means you can literally dump entire code bases, full novels, or hours of meeting transcripts into Grok in a single prompt without a single issue. It's wild. While Grok doubles GPT 5.5's 1 million token limit, its real secret weapon is its live integration with X, formerly Twitter. It can pull fresh social media updates and real-time data streams, which is something OpenAI models simply lack. However, a quick reality check for both, neither model actually possesses true long-term memory across sessions. If you start a brand new chat, both of them still rely entirely on whatever you feed into that current context window. Okay, on to Section 3, Performance and Coding Benchmarks. The numbers here tell a very clear story. GPT 5.5 absolutely dominates in enterprise coding and complex commands. I mean, it hit an impressive 82.7% on Terminal Bench 2.0 and 58.6% on SWE Pro, which simulates real-world coding. Now, xAI hasn't released official 4.3 numbers yet, but its predecessor version 4.20 was heavily optimized for factual Q&A, hitting a massive 78% non-hallucination rate. So it is incredibly truth-oriented. But when it comes to complex software engineering, the earlier 4.20 review put Grok's limitations pretty bluntly. It literally said it can't code well. Grok scored a 48 on the General Intelligence Index compared to GPT's 57. Basically, what this tells us is that you probably shouldn't be putting Grok in your continuous integration pipeline just yet. Meanwhile, GPT 5.5 has seen its long context reasoning leap from 36% all the way to 74% on massive tasks. This isn't just some small incremental update, guys. This makes GPT 5.5 genuinely production-ready for massive document analysis and serious agentic knowledge work. Which brings us to Section 4, Multimodality and Safety. So, we know GPT 5.5 is a native omnimodal powerhouse wrapped in a mature developer ecosystem. But Grok has actually caught up in some incredibly clever ways. Surprisingly, it offers native slide deck and PDF presentation generation right inside the chat interface. You just ask for a presentation and boom, it builds one. It also handles video inputs now and features an upgraded speech-to-text API that leverages the exact same voice technology found in Tesla cars. So their developer ecosystem is rougher, but it's growing really fast.
However, we have to talk about safety because it's a massive differentiator here. OpenAI ran extensive red teaming on GPT 5.5, heavily filtering it against major cybersecurity risks, bioweapons, and self-harm. That makes it highly reliable for corporate enterprise use. In contrast, Grok's safety is much murkier. Its beta status means it relies primarily on basic content filters, with absolutely no official safety sheet or external audits published.
As an objective explainer, we do have to point out a severe safety failure that occurred in late 2025. Grok's beta image editor was found to easily remove clothing from images of minors, which forced an emergency patch. Generating this type of harmful content is obviously completely unacceptable, and it really highlights the massive real-world risks of relying on unaudited beta software that lacks strict safety guardrails. Plus, pulling live data from X introduces some very real privacy and copyright considerations too.
Let's move to Section 5, Pricing and Ecosystem. This is where your decision will likely be finalized. Looking at the developer API level, Grok's raw token costs are drastically cheaper. It's just $3 for 1 million input tokens compared to GPT 5.5's unapologetically premium rate of $5. And output tokens are literally half the price on Grok. But as we know, API pricing is really only half the story for everyday users. Because to actually access the Grok 4.3 beta interface as a consumer, you hit a massive paywall. You are required to subscribe to the Super Grok Heavy tier, which sits at a staggering $300 a month. That effectively limits Grok's 4.3 to serious enthusiasts and professionals who can actually financially justify that kind of massive monthly fee. Contrast that massive beta paywall with GPT 5.5. It is easily accessible to everyday users and developers via the standard $20 a month ChatGPT Plus subscription. This makes the barrier to entry for OpenAI's absolute top-tier model vastly lower for the average person. And that brings us to Section 6, the final verdict. To sum this all up, GPT 5.5 is your reliable, heavily supported enterprise coding machine. If you are doing software engineering, high-stakes technical research, or strict analytics, this is your default. On the other hand, Grok 4.3 beta is the experimental real-time engine. If you need to track breaking news cycles on X, digest a massive 2 million token document, or rapidly generate multimedia like slide decks, Grok is your tool for that creative, real-time work. So, weighing those massive context windows and real-time live data feeds against enterprise-grade reasoning, strict safety guardrails, and vastly different subscription costs, which of these models actually fits your workflow for 2026? Are you willing to pay a premium for live social data, or does robust coding logic win out for you? Think about it, and let that guide your next AI investment.